and welcome to the world of NekoDecoPop. I'm Nat, and today we're breaking down the seasonal anime of summer 2024. Summer is kind of a hit or miss time of the year for anime since most of the heavy hitters are reserved for fall and winter. Although there were definitely some duds this season, I was honestly pleasantly surprised with just how much good anime we got. I am super excited to present some of those today since I feel like a lot of them completely flew under the radar. Make sure to stick around to the end where I will be presenting the official NekoDecoPop Awards, where everyone's a winner but the awards might just not be. If you'd like to see more seasonal anime reviews, top 10 lists, video essays, and anime rants, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so I had pretty mixed feelings about going into Suicide Squad Isekai. On one hand, it is a cool concept, but on the other hand, Suicide Squad has a mixed reputation to say the least, and early reviews did not speak kindly to this anime. But I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed myself, and I even think that this was actually good. I know I am just as surprised, but the plot, voice acting in both the sub and dub, music, and especially the animation was really good. Wit Studio really took that concept and ran with it. The action scenes were absolutely stunning and super impressive. The concept of sending the Suicide Squad into an isekai so that the US could start gobbling up its resources was very on brand. I usually despise isekai, but I didn't hate this, and that is saying a lot. Overall, I think this was a very solid anime. It also left the door open for a sequel, which I will definitely watch if it gets greenlit. Suicide Squad Isekai gets a 7.5 out of 10. Speaking of absolutely jaw-dropping anime, we have our next entry, The Elusive Samurai, which is one of the most beautifully animated shows I've seen in the last few years. I am a massive history nerd, so when I learned that this loosely followed real historical events, I was hooked. The first episode really set the standard for what we're in for. We follow 8-year-old Hojo Tokiyuki, a real-life figure who changed the landscape of Japan when he was only 10 years old. His journey is a very intense one, whose tone in the first episode left me speechless. The first half of the episode is a cozy slice of life that introduces us to our characters and shows us the political landscape of 14th century Japan. The second half of the episode goes full historical in every sense of the word, and if you know anything about Japanese history, you understand the gravity of what that means. The Elusive Samurai was created by Yusei Matsui, who also did Assassination Classroom, so that should tell you everything you need to know in terms of balancing comedy with, okay, we're crying now. Overall, this was just a really strong series and one where I dread the end of every episode because I wasn't ready to leave that world yet. It looks like season 2 just got announced, so you know I'll be watching that. The Elusive Samurai gets a 9 out of 10. Turning to our unhinged anime category, we crash into chaos with my dear friend Nokotan, whose insane premise, weird 3D deers, meta humor, anime references, and fourth wall breaks make it one unique anime. We follow a former delinquent student named Koshitan, who left the life behind to transform into her school sweetheart. Her perfectly curated image is shattered with the appearance of Nokotan, who is not a girl, but a full-fledged deer, except not. It's never quite clear what the f*** is going on, but it sure is entertaining. I was not, however, a fan of the hardcore sister complex her sister had for her. It was excessive, to say the least. And at least with this, the show had enough sense to call it out for being weird as f***. But still, why was it in there in the first place? This is a tricky one for me since there are so many funny and great moments, but the rest of the anime is a incohesive mess. It needed like 5 more massive edits, especially since they use the same joke like 50 times every single episode. I can't tell if it's brilliant or if I hate it, but right now, to be honest, I kind of hate it. My dear friend Nokotan gets a 5 out of 10. Every single episode of VTuber Legend, how I went viral from forgetting to turn off my stream, I kept asking myself the same question. How are they going to make this episode gayer and more unhinged than the last? And every single episode, it exceeded my expectations. This is one of the most unhinged anime I have ever seen, and unhinged chaotic anime is my love language. In the first episode, our VTuber main character forgets to turn off her stream, gets white girl wasted, watches other VTubers, and screams about how she wants to be their mommy and how she's gooning over them. Yes, you heard me right. Like, this, just look at this.
どちゃっこなんだがひかりちゃんのママあなたの配信見てどちゃっこなんだがあなたの配信見てどちゃっこなんだが
Now, I'm not part of the VTuber community, but everyone I've talked to says that this anime absolutely captures that community and then some. I loved the ranges between episodes in terms of storyline and character growth, and I honestly can't tell if this anime is a masterpiece or just complete trash, but I think in this case, we can embrace it as both. Not sure if they're gonna have a second season, but if they do, I am absolutely watching it. VTuber Legend, not saying that long title again, gets a surprising 9 out of 10. Our next selection, Mayonaka Punch, follows Misaki, a problematic YouTuber who's kind of a shit show. So in the first episode alone, she is kicked out of the vlog squad that she created after she kind of goes off the deep end and assaults her coworker during a live stream. Her YouTube career is doomed, and the comment section make it very clear that she is not welcome on YouTube. She desperately tries to make a new channel, starting by recreating the video that made her first channel blow up in the first place. But during this excursion, she runs into a real-life vampire named Live, who just so happens to be absolutely obsessed with Misaki. The two come to an agreement. Live will help Misaki grow her channel. In exchange for reaching 1 million subscribers, Misaki will let Live drain her. And thus begins the utter chaos featuring more vampires, batshit insane concepts, and some pretty creative lore. This anime absolutely nailed the struggles of being a YouTuber, from brainstorming content to the grueling editing process and the frantic work schedule you create to grow your channel. Overall, this was a very cute anime with some really strong emotional beats. The pacing did feel a little off, so I took off a point for that, but Mayonaka Punch still gets a 7.5 out of 10. Makeine Too Many Losing Heroines has absolutely stunning animation. Like, Jesus, that alone got me right in my feels. Some of the storylines and emotional beats were really well written and heartfelt, but I do feel like the anime kind of fell off during the second half. The whole concept of a mob character who's familiar with harems suddenly being bombarded by hotties sounds like a dream come true. Except they are only talking to him so that they can trauma dump on being the love interest who got dumped while someone else got their true love. This poor boy is just trying to live his life, and they just keep showing up to use him as their personal therapist. The amount I was screaming during the first few episodes was definitely excessive, but Jesus Christ, ladies, get your shit together! There were a lot of really great moments and amazing character growth and development, but once it kind of got past the relationship stuff and just settled into their everyday slice of life, it really did fall off for me. I'm still really happy that I watched it, but I'm definitely not gonna watch any future seasons. Makeine Too Many Losing Heroines gets a 7 out of 10. As stated before, I hate isekai. So why the f*** would I watch not one, but two this season? Well, that's because of the unique protagonist of No Longer Allowed in Another World. If you get the reference from the title, you already know who that protagonist is. And if you don't, the protagonist is Osamu Dazai. Yes, that Dazai. And the title of the anime is a homage to his famous literary masterpiece, No Longer Human. He's never called Dazai in the anime, but everything about him and his background make his identity pretty clear. His reaction to being reincarnated is not relief and excitement. It is despair and devastation. He spends the rest of the show trying to correct that error and trying to unalive himself every other scene. And here is the main reason why I picked up this anime, cause what's better than an isekai protagonist who does not want to live the isekai fantasy and spends his time trying to unalive himself for real? I did like the concept, but this pretty quickly devolved into yet another isekai, and that's where this anime lost me cause like I said, I don't want to watch isekai. All in all, I probably would have dropped it, but I figured I should continue cause these reviews are really not fun if I only watch good anime. So yeah, this was fine, I guess. If you like isekai, you'll probably f with it. No Longer Allowed in Another World gets a 6.5 out of 10. To quote a wise poet, "There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house." Cause good God, a slightly lower angle in some of those scenes would have required this anime to shrink its episodes down to 8 minutes long. If you understand that reference, congratulations, you're a whore. Now that is all I'm gonna say about the spice levels, cause remember folks, these are minor, so don't be weird. Overall, Twilight Out of Focus was a really cute and surprisingly wholesome show that may have set a new record for me yelling, "Oh puppy." This anime is split into 3 storylines, each following different couples and their journeys to each other. The first one in particular had some really disturbing lore that made me stop in my tracks and text my bestie to try to process how f***ed up that was. The second was your typical enemies to lovers trope, which was pulled off well but did not hit as hard as the first. And the third featured my favorite character of the series, Yoshino, who is absolutely shameless and enters the story by loudly proclaiming, "I don't care about any of the plot of this show, I just want a boyfriend." All in all, I did very much enjoy this series. I feel like we're going through a BL anime renaissance where we're getting quality BL that isn't just built around toxic tropes and abuse, other than, moments in that first story. Fingers crossed we can continue moving forward and leave toxic and problematic tropes in the past. And please God, never make an anime adaptation of Jinx. Twilight Out of Focus gets a 8 out of 10. So, I was originally wary when I heard the concept of my senpai is an Otokonoko, but I am so happy that I gave this puppy a chance. I did not expect such a wholesome, soulful journey of gender identity and self-discovery and cried during multiple episodes. It was such a beautiful story that explored the intricacies of being under the trans non-binary umbrella and what that means for your sense of self. It also dissected romantic relationships on an incredibly introspective level. When you enter a relationship, are you in it for the right reasons? Are you in it because you really like the person, or are you in it because you feel like you should like them because they like you? And if you do like them, is it romantic love, or are you forcing it to be because you're scared of losing that friendship? I was not expecting this high school romance to go this hard, but it ended up becoming one of my favorites of the season. Our main character, Makoto, is an Otokonoko, which is a Japanese term for male cross-dresser. He's attending high school as a girl and is quickly confessed to by a bubbly freshman who's got layers. Like, good God, I was not prepared for the sheer amount of lore that Saki has. Only problem with her confession is that Makoto's childhood best friend is also in love with him, and thus the chaos begins. All in all, I was wildly impressed. I am so happy that we're getting more and more LGBT anime, and even more so, more genderqueer anime. My senpai is an Otokonoko, gets a 9 out of 10. Next we have Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Well, that certainly was an anime that someone made on purpose, and all I want to ask is why? The amount of plot that actually went down was minuscule, the character growth barely moved forward, and the sister was hands down the worst character of the season. Y'all just really had to go the whole incest route, like why can we not have normal sibling relationships? It takes literally zero effort to not include incest. Now, we are going to dive into spoilers, so skip to here if you do not want to be spoiled. The whole plot point of Alya saying all her intrusive thoughts in Russian and not realizing that Masashka can understand Russian was cute for a few episodes, but even by the end they never revealed it. Just like they never revealed that Yuki and Masashka were siblings, meaning that the love triangle between Yuki, Masashka, and Alya kept spinning and no one set the record straight. Alya still believed that Yuki was her love rival by the end, and it wasn't helped by Yuki legitimately being in love with her brother. The other biggest plot point, if you even want to call it that, is the student council race between Yuki and Alya, which you would assume is leading up to the student council race, but no. The big race moment culminates in a stirring speech to the student body, but here's the kicker. It doesn't even mean shit because it happens during the summer and the race isn't even until March. Like literally, what is this anime and why was it made? I just wasted 12 episodes of my life, and although it had some cute moments, it was more cringe than anime and did not go anywhere or do anything. Needless to say, I will not be watching the next season. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, gets a 3 out of 10. But let's bring it back to some good anime and celebrate that the long wait for Kimi no Todoke Season 3 is over and the wait was so worth it. The way that this anime filled me with an endless supply of serotonin was unmatched. My only complaints about the series is 1, it was too short, and 2, I thought that this was 6 episodes. But it was actually 5, and when it autoplayed into the 6 episodes, which ended up being a recap, that shit broke me. Other than those elements though, this anime was damn near perfect and made me so happy every single moment. I cannot even imagine how meaningful this was to hardcore fans who have been waiting 13 years for this. I definitely lucked out because I only had to wait for a year since I only got into Kimi no Todoke last year, and I know that in itself is sacrilegious. But I have been a convert ever since I watched it, and Sawako has quickly become one of my all-time favorite characters. I even made a whole video about her and other magical girls of social anxiety, which you can watch up here and linked in the description. Long story short, if you haven't watched any Kimi no Todoke, this is your sign from the universe. You gotta jump on that train. It is amazing, and I can guarantee you that it will bring you joy. Kimi no Todoke Season 3 gets a 9 out of 10. I think we all kind of rolled our eyes when we saw that there was a Terminator anime coming out. Like, how much harder can you beat a dead horse? The franchise has been dead for a hot minute, but Terminator Zero might just have resuscitated that. I can confidently say that this is the best entry into the Terminator franchise. It is one of the finest pieces of sci-fi anime I have ever seen and a true tour de force. I don't want to say anything about the plot. I want y'all to go into this one completely blind. The way that this anime carved something beautiful and meaningful into the Terminator lore while also paying homage to the greats was absolutely masterful. The pacing was so good that I binged the entire thing in one night. I was literally bolt upright for the final episodes. Like, it completely diverted my expectations and it made something that felt fresh and original. I cannot wait to show this to my brother who first showed me Terminator 2 back in the day. I just know that he is going to be just as excited and blown away by the absolute masterpiece just like I was. I am very conservative with my perfect scores and I need to sit on this one for a little bit, but my tentative score for Terminator Zero is a 9.5 out of 10. Dead Demons Dededede Destruction has a title as wild as its premise. It is without a doubt one of the best sci-fi anime of the last few years. The first episode, which is also a prologue, kicks off a wild and intense journey that showcases the post-apocalyptic hellscape that our characters must traverse. But then, the second episode rewinds 4 years earlier to explore the events that led up to this tragedy. This anime has a stupid amount of lore, and is one of those that you really need to be paying attention to. It's also one that I would highly recommend binging over a few days, instead of spacing things out so you don't miss any crucial information. We follow a group of high school students living out their slice-of-life fantasy as humanity grows closer and closer to destruction. The growing tension throughout the series and countdown to Doomsday is brilliantly executed as the mystery is slowly revealed. This anime is absolutely brilliant and went places I was not expecting. It also has an outro song that literally made me cry every single time I heard this part because it was so powerful. I can't tell if the ending was messy or brilliant, but I'm leaning towards the latter. All in all, this was a powerhouse of an anime and one that I'm going to be thinking about for a long, long time. Dead Demons Dededede Destruction gets a 9 out of 10. Welcome to the official NekoDecoPop Awards, where everyone's a winner, but the awards might just not be. To kick off our ceremony, we have the award for Best New Series goes to Terminator Zero. I know, I'm surprised too. The award for Best Continuing Series goes to Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. The award for Best Opening Song goes to the award for Best Outro Song goes to the award for Best Overall Style goes to The Elusive Samurai. Legitimately some of the most breathtaking animation I have ever seen. Like, look at this sequence! The award for Best Character goes to Awayuki Kokorone from VTuber Legend for being my unhinged degenerate sister in arms. Godspeed, you are doing the Lord's work. The award for Worst Character goes to Yuki, and Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian for being weird and incesty with her brother and constantly essaying her servant. The award for Best Otokonoko goes to Makoto from My Senpai is an Otokonoko, who is just an adorable gem of a character too. The award for Worst Friend Group goes to all the ladies from Makeine who use the main character as their own personal therapist and just trauma dumped on him. Let that boy eat his lunch in peace. The award for Best Deer goes to this particular deer from my dear friend Nokotan. Because Nokotan is a team player and really only one of the deer crackers that come with the prize for the award. The award for Worst YouTube Apology goes to Misaki from Mayonaka Punch. Girl, you cannot be assaulting your former colleagues just because they kicked you out of the vlog squad, but you know what? Points for not pulling out a ukulele. The award for Most Surprising Anime That I Actually Liked goes to Suicide Squad Isekai. Yeah, I can't believe I like this one as much as I did either. The award for Best Anime Title Tongue Twister goes to Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. Try saying that 3 times in a row. Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. The award for Best Anime Comeback of a Series we lost all hope in returning goes to Kimi ni Todoke. We finally did it, y'all. 13 years later, but we're finally back! The award for Best Series where the fanfics wrote themselves goes to Twilight Out of Focus. We didn't have to do shit, like the plot actually did it for us. The award for Best Anime that taught me the meaning of gooning goes to VTuber Legend. I actually had to go to Urban Dictionary to look this one up. Y'all are making me feel old as hell. And the award for Best Suicide Hotline Walking Advertisement goes to Dazai, the protagonist in No Longer Allowed in Another World. But seriously, here is the actual hotline if you or anyone needs it. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Congratulations to all of our winners, and we'll see all of you at next season's awards. So to wrap things up, how did I feel about this season? Although I don't feel like it was as strong as some of the other seasons this year, I do feel like the overall quality was better. There were more 9 out of 10 ratings this season than any other I've watched this year, which made it really hard to narrow down to a top 2, so I made a top 4, which includes Terminator Zero, The Elusive Samurai, Dededede Demons, Dededede Destruction, and VTuber Legend. My least favorite anime was Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. An anime that I wish were better were Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines, and My Dear Friend Nokotan. This really was the season for absolutely chaotic shitshow anime. Between VTuber Legend and My Dear Friend Nokotan, we witnessed some truly unhinged anime. This was also an amazing season for sci-fi anime since Terminator Zero and Dededede Demons Dededede Destruction introduced 2 new heavy hitters into the genre. What were your favorite animes of summer 2024? What animes did you hate, and what animes did you wish were better? Let me know in the comments below. Thank y'all so much for sticking around, and I'll see all of y'all on the next one.